taking a critical look at the gaming news of the week.
This is Augmented Reality,
Presented by the Triple S League.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Augmented Reality Podcast for September 19th, 2020. This is your source for news, leaks, and insights about games and the gaming industry. My name is Ash. I'm here as always with Cybsidian and Moontag. Great to see everybody who's already active in the live chat. We do this podcast live twice a week right here on the Triple S League YouTube channel, and it's a great time. So if you're listening after the fact, or if you're listening on one of the audio-only platforms, come check us out Wednesdays and Saturdays for the latest in the gaming info. And we try to go a little deeper here, like rather than just giving you the straight news, we try to give you some analysis, and that's what we're going to do today. Obviously, a lot of news about Cyberpunk 2077 coming out of the Night City Wire event that took place yesterday. That was a pretty fun time. Unfortunately, Cyb and Moon, you guys weren't able to join me for doing the live stream on our channel, but I had quite a few people from our Discord community get together and watch that with me, and it was a lot of fun. And I was blown away. Like, CDPR really has shown that they've really nailed it in the marketing department for this game, have they not? I mean, they're really showing a lot of other companies how it's done. You know, in this time of lockdown, when a lot of people have, or a lot of companies have really put out some really rather boring events showcasing games and things like that. CDPR is really showing them how it's done, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
True.
Yeah. Because
they've been,
go ahead.
Yeah, they've been doing things that other companies should have been doing a lot longer, long ago, and a majority of their plans have essentially been ruined. Just like so everybody knows, it's like they did not want this, and they were not expecting this at all, and they had to completely redo a lot of their planned stuff, which really sucks because they were hoping to really get in just a ton of cosplayers and do all these real life bar events, because that's the main theme of the game. Is when you're playing as V, you're playing as the merc, you're hanging out in a bar picking up jobs. That's typically what you're doing every single day.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted to reenact. And they had already been reenacting this in a couple of their big events and at E3 last year and a bunch of other stuff. Is they've continually been pushing this. Now they can't do that anymore, and it sucks because they had so many cool options, and when I talk to some of the devs, they're like, "Oh man, we're so depressed. It was gonna be so cool." And I'm like, relax. You could do all the same stuff for the multiplayer when that comes out. It's fine. It's not fine. There's a lot of ruined stuff, and it's really sad, and it sucks because you don't want to be having to do that, right? So it's really not cool. So
well, yeah, the transition to only online events has definitely changed their plans. But they're doing really well with it, and they've really, especially I thought during the gangs segment, which by the way, we're going to go through some of the video of the Night City segments and the gangs segments on the podcast today, so there will be a video element. I'll let you know when stuff is appearing on the screen. I know some of you just listen in the background while you're doing other things. But the gangs, there was no there was narration, but it wasn't just a dev sitting down and being like, okay, here, let me tell you about all the gangs we have, which is the kind of thing we've seen in a lot of events this summer. Just somebody sitting down, a talking head, being like, oh yeah, we've, this and this and this and this, and maybe showing us bits of gameplay with it. But they told us everything we wanted to know about the gangs, just showing us in-game content. I don't know if they recorded any extra lines just to tie everything together. They might have done that. But yeah, they just showed it to us. They showed us all the gangs. You had in-game characters telling us about the gangs, all within the context of the story that's happening. I thought that was really well done, So kudos to them for that. Plus, then the montage that they, the Night City tour montage was just mind blowing. And as time being said in the chat just a moment ago, they were super chill. They were just like, oh yeah, this is a thing we did. We made this, and at one point we had Miles Tost sitting there, just casually telling us all about the things that they designed for the game. Meanwhile, they're putting these mind blowing visuals on the scene. I don't even know if anyone was listening to Miles because everyone's brain was collectively exploding. It was really funny. It was really really well done. Top notch in my opinion. This was my favorite Night City Wire thus far. The other two were pretty good, but this one definitely took the cake for me. I don't know, Moontag. We haven't heard your voice yet, so what did you think about all of what we saw yesterday?
Oh my gosh, it was so cool. Like as like the camera was like panning through the night city, I was like, wow, lots of these elements remind me of a lot of cities that I've been to because like I've been to Hong Kong and I've been to like the States in LA to visit like one of my friends, and like I was just like really reminded of like the roads and the architecture, and it's like just so cool to see it with like in this kind of environment. Oh, there's so many. It's like just this mosaic of different semi-recognizable landscapes. It's so cool. I'm so excited to explore it.
There were some really cool stuff going on with holograms. We'll see that again in a bit. We'll go through the video. I'm putting one new screenshot that they've put out up on the screen. Actually, I don't know if this is exactly a screenshot or not, but it's a wallpaper that is now available on cyberpunk.net. But it features the dragon holograms that we saw yesterday, and V riding his kick-ass motorbike with his mantis claw out, which seems very dangerous, but looks really badass, so looks awesome. Scadril says, surprising, this was my least favorite episode. They could have definitely included the soundtrack content they wanted. Interesting, so different take there. Yeah, they had, at the last moment, they swapped out they were going to be showing more info about the soundtrack and the music, but they swapped that out at the last minute. But they did give us system requirements, so might as well go into that right now. By the way, though, if you haven't yet slammed that like button, definitely please slam the like button. It likes it rough, and we appreciate the feedback. It tells YouTube that you appreciate this content and that it's worth showing to other people who might like it. So please do that. Of course, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of that fun stuff. Yeah. All right. So the system requirements for Cyberpunk 2077, they showed us yesterday, and this thing will run on your toaster. Okay, not quite exactly, but the minimum system requirements were surprisingly low to me. The minimum requirements. Now, bear in mind, it's not going to look the best. It's not going to look like it does, in the trailers that are featuring the RTX and all the fancy stuff and the high fidelity graphics, if you're running it on the minimum specs, like on the minimum hardware. Now, I guess I should say, it's not entirely surprising because this game is built to run on current gen consoles, or I mean, really, it's almost last gen consoles because we've got the new ones coming out right away within a month and a bit. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are going to be out, and so the current gen consoles are almost the last gen consoles. They're just right at the end of their life cycle. So we're talking about consoles that are 7 years old that are able to run this game. So I guess it makes sense from that aspect, but I don't know. I still found this to be surprisingly low. Minimum specs, you can run it on Windows 7 if necessary. Windows 7 or 10, 64-bit is the minimum requirement. An Intel Core i5 3570K or AMD FX 8310 processor. 8 gigs memory, and it'll, as far as a graphics card, it'll run with a GeForce GTX 780 with a 3 gigabytes of VRAM or the AMD Radeon RX 470. So we're looking at graphics cards there that are years and years old. DirectX version 12, though, is required. And as far as how large the game is, as far as download or install size, 70 gigabytes, and it will run on a normal HD, like a hard disk drive. But although they recommend a solid state drive, of course, I think all games are pretty much going to recommend a solid state drive going forward, just to help with load times and things like that. So those are the minimum specs. Do you have something to say there, Moon?
Oh yeah, no, there's just some good comments in the chat there from Robin Green. He's like, said Toaster Box Series X.
Yes.
That gave me a giggle. And Adam Smith asks, so my GTX 970 can run it?
Yes, absolutely. Your GTX 970 is actually way, well above the minimum specs, but below recommended, but well above the minimum specs there.
Mm-hmm. And there's another question from HN who's wondering if their 2070 Super R5 3800X is good enough for 3440 by 1440 view.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head if that, but I think you'll probably be, I think you'll probably hit that. It depends on the frame rate you're going for, because that's the typical trade-off. Also, it'll depend if you have the RTX on or not. That'll make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll just go through the recommended specs now, though. They recommend Windows 10, of course, 64-bit. They recommend an Intel Core i7 4790 or AMD Ryzen 3 3200G. Recommend 12 gigabytes RAM. And as far as the graphics card, they recommend the GTX 1060. So that's still pretty low. That's several years old now already as well. The 1060. We have the 2000 series that has been out for a little while, and now the 3000 series that's about to release. The 1060 is. Yeah, I was surprised that the recommended graphics card is in the 10 series, or an AMD Radeon R9 Fury. DirectX version 12, of course. That by the way, that's just required. DirectX 12, they made that clear. That's the version of DirectX it's going to be using, and of course 70 gigabytes of I can't really say hard drive space anymore, but disk drive space, whether that's your hard drive or your SSD. So, yeah, the recommended specs even are not too heavy. So if you have anything at that level or comparable to that, you're going to run this game pretty well. And if you have above that, you'll run it really, 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 really well. They've been talking about optimization. They've been talking about the optimization that they've been putting into this game for a long time. And they've been optimizing as they go. And that's, I think, a key thing and probably a very, very necessary thing for a game like this that they know is going to be coming at the end of a hardware generation, like at least a console hardware generation. But they don't want it to feel like a last-gen game necessarily. And by the way, if you're not aware, they will be releasing a next-gen version for the new consoles, like an upgraded version, sometime in, I believe it's 2021, that will be coming. Correct me if I'm wrong about that side. Anyway, if you own the current version, you will get that upgrade for free. So there is a next-gen version coming. That'll obviously have much beefier requirements. But the optimization that they've been doing, it seems like they've been optimizing as they go, really trying to make sure that their engine will run well on the hardware it needs to run on. So I think that contributes a lot. Neon X, can I play it on my 3090? Yeah, no, I don't think that'll be good enough. Smart ass. Yeah. Saib, you've been strangely quiet. What are your thoughts on all this?
It's pretty good, and dogs are going crazy. So
oh yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty good. This is pretty open for low end players, and it's going to be as good, if not better, for high end players, especially once they can start taking on those really high grade things, and especially like a couple years down the road when we're running mods, this game has a lot of room to grow, but it's got a really low base, which is great because that means it's been fairly well optimized. So yes, this is very exciting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Kisuke says, "Can I play it on my calculator?" Well, I don't know. I mean, if your calculator is your PC, then sure. Yeah. All right, just looking through some of the chat comments here. Anyway, yeah. It's so I think the system specs are going to make a lot of people very happy. There's a lot of people who will be able to run it on their current systems, or not have to break the bank in order to play this game. Again, keep in mind it's not going to look like it does in the trailers if you're using, if you're on the lower end of the recommended specs, or if you're closer to the minimum specs. It's not going to look as nice as obviously if you have a higher end rig to run it on. But at least you'll be able to play the game, And I think that obviously that's the most important thing. I'm glad they're making it as open as possible for people to get in and play this thing. The story and the RPG, like that, it's number one. It's a story-based RPG, a story-driven RPG experience, and so getting as many people in the door to play the game, I think, is a good place for them to put their focus. Yeah, it's great to have the high fidelity graphics with ray tracing running at 4K 120 frames per second, if you can pull that off. But that's not core to the experience of the game. If you're running it at lower specs, lower graphical fidelity, for you can still experience the story just as well. And I think that's
Exactly.
the most important thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. Other Cyberpunk news before we will be going into the video, like I said. We'll be doing that in just a minute, but there's a couple other things. So there's a couple of YouTubers that have revealed that they have been turned into NPCs in the game, and we had a discussion about this during the podcast, not the podcast, but the live restream we did yesterday. So Alana Pierce is has revealed that she is an NPC in the game, and she released a photo of herself within the game. There's a small quest tied to her. Her character exists out in the Badlands, so it's kind of a nomad tied quest. And then Jesse Cox is another YouTuber / online online content creator / influencer who is in the game, and I'm not terribly familiar with him, but I am familiar with Alana Pierce, former IGN employee who has kind of struck out on her own and works in the gaming media space, basically. So we had a bit of a discussion about this, and I was asked, would I want to be an NPC in a video game like this? And I wasn't sure, to be perfectly honest with you, because in some ways I think it's less risky for me, but for someone like Alana, having a 3D model of herself out there seems just ripe for trouble. Rule 34 crap. Yeah. But, I mean, aside from that, it would be fun to be an NPC in a game, I think. Especially if I had a really funny quest attached to me. I think that would be my ideal. Just have like a really give the player a funny experience. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I commented in the chat yesterday. Oh, speaking of chats, thank you, Polly's, for the super chat. CDPR made lots of people happy with the system info. Yes, I agree.
Absolutely, yeah.
So. Right? But yeah, in the chat yesterday, I was saying that if I were an NPC, I would have a quest involving Goose and Bells, because I'm all about that game right now.
Untitled Goose Game? You're
Yes,
into
very much
Untitled
so.
Goose Game? That's funny.
Oh my gosh, it is so funny interacting with the characters, and it would be great to like just because it feels like something so like I'm sure like figure out some way to like tie it into like a bigger storyline, but it just like it's such a fun little like almost nonsensical side quest you can go on just for like shits and giggles and like just go see what happens. Like I introduced it as like a little side quest for like my D&D character to my group recently because like they started having sessions on weeknights and I couldn't join, and so I was like, well, my character's going to go off on a bell hunt, a secret goose bell stash. Mhm. But yeah, like just like something fun that like character that people can like just kind of go off on like a little side tangent basically just for fun. That would be kind of NPC I would be.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I agree. And then the discussion turned to would I want to have a romance quest attached to me if I was an NPC. I was like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I just want to be the funny sidekick. That's what I want to be if I was an NPC in a game.
I would like to be a companion.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, we've just been asked about what about only 4 romanceable NPC options. Okay, so I'm actually going to need to be filled in about this. Cyber Moon, I don't know if you guys know what this is about or not, but yeah, I saw something about there only being 4 romanceable NPCs in the game, and I didn't give it too much thought. Is this a rumor, or is this... I mean, I don't think anything's been confirmed, has it? Where did this come from? If someone in the chat knows, please, please let me please let me know. That doesn't seem right. Only 4 romanceable NPCs. That does not seem right at all.
No, I kind of so they've talked a lot about how like there's multiple romanceable, NPCs, and we know that you can pick up like I guess it depends on what romanceable means. So romanceable companions, that I can understand. Romanceable NPCs, that makes no sense because we already know that V can pick up a wide variety of people that just go hang out with her that or him that night. So it depends on what your term romanceable means. If you mean like companion characters that you can play with that you can also then turn into like romanceable characters, then yes. But again, we know that that's not the thing because we know that that one of the romanceable characters in the game is the memory girl. Crap, what's her name?
Oh, Judy?
Judy.
Yeah, the brain dance girl,
So
yeah.
we know that Judy can be romanceable, but she's not a combat companion. So that doesn't make any sense either right away. So I mean I wouldn't be surprised if it's limited in the realm of like major characters that you can romance, but I think that the NPC market um is probably quite broad at least. So but I don't know how far that can go. Is there a scene at the end of the game where one of the primary antagonists or villains that you've been fighting all the way through is holding your one of your is holding the main character that you've romanced up until now at gunpoint, threatening to shoot them if you don't do what he's telling you, which is obviously also going to end in a game over. In that particular scenario, then yeah, you have to limit it down to like the main 4 combat companions that you have, period. But again, with all the choice that they have in the game, that doesn't kind of make sense either. So it's so yeah, this rumor needs to be expanded upon because right now it makes absolutely no sense without assuming several other major steps to the rumor. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one.
Right. I'm just looking for the message here because... Oh, wait. Yes, a couple of people, including Bison, in a stream yesterday, Dev said that all of the romanceable characters were shown in the trailers. All right. If anybody has a source for that, I would like to see. I'd like more information about that. We don't have. We don't have more information, or we don't have enough information to really comment on this particular topic. We hadn't heard that quote, so. But yeah, I've seen 2 people in the chat now who have said that. So if someone has a source for that, please fire it at Cyb or myself in the Discord, and then we'll talk about it a little bit later in the show if we can verify some of that. We're not going to be able to watch a stream right now to, look at the info, but if you have like an article or something that quotes them, we'd like to see that, because I'd like to, we'd like to verify that if that's the case. Now, as far as, now I'm not saying I doubt that if that's the case, that all of the romanceable characters have been shown so far. That wouldn't surprise me, but we've seen a lot of characters. A lot of characters. So, yeah. Where it got narrowed down to 4 is puzzling to me. But again, there may just be some info that we haven't hashed through yet, because there's been so much to go through here. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, so congrats to those YouTubers who got their images in the game, their images and characters. My comment on all this, I don't know what you guys think about, but my comment on the YouTubers being in the game was that as long as they have the chops to pull it off, and it seems like both of these people do. I know Alana's done, she's done acting work in games before, so she's got some acting chops. So as long as it's not somebody who can barely act, that they're putting in just for fan service, basically, then I'm good with it. Definitely good with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't want it to take my immersion away. Just be like, oh, it's so and so YouTuber, and their character sounds and acts like crap. But yay. I don't want that kind of a thing. I want
have a certain level of merits to be able to do this sort of thing, right?
Yeah. No, exactly. And again, Alana seems like somebody who can pull that off, and I'm not familiar with the other guy, but I imagine he is as well. Mm-hmm. So that's all I care about. As long as it's not taken away from the artistry and the professionalism of the product to do so, I'm totally good with it. That's my take.
Agree.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
Okay.
I like where they're going with this anyways. I'm pretty happy with it, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. And plus it just builds that much more of a rapport with players too, especially if you recognize, be like, oh dude, I totally know this streamer, or I know this character. And then you're like, but what? It's the person I watch. Yeah. That's pretty cool to have that sort of it feels like an extra personal connection.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we're going to start going through some of the visuals of what we saw yesterday here from the Night City tour, but also the gangs. While I'm getting that set up, Cyb and Moontag, do you have any overall thoughts about what we saw in Night City Wire yesterday that you wanna share?
No, I want to wait until we're going through it. There's a couple things that I want to make sure I'm remembering it correctly.
Okay, I'm just getting it set up so that you guys can see what's on my screen here as well. Okay, there we go. You should be able to see it now. And on the stream, you should be able to see it now. So I think we'll go. I am going to put the speed down a little bit just so we can pause it where necessary. I've also got to bring the chat over here so that I can see the chat while we're going through this. Oh, complicated stream today. On screen. Thank you, Robin. Yes. All right. So, all right. Well, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to go through is the tour of Night City, and there was some. This is a segment called Postcards from Night City, and right off the bat, I mean, they start us off with this really super annoying TV character. Oh my God, Juanita here. Today's news is Nova Max. So right off the bat, they give us a glimpse into the pop culture of the world, which I find fascinating. Like, I love this stuff. I love how when a game world has a really fleshed out, culture of all of its own, and when they have, and so anyway, so clearly she is on some kind of a TV show or whatever the equivalent is in the cyberpunk future. We'll see her more in a minute. Here's the new skyline as it appears from V's apartment. At least I believe this is from V's apartment. It looks like it's a similar view to what we saw in the 48 minutes of gameplay that came out a couple of years ago. People have been commenting about how much this has changed, and it definitely has. It's definitely changed significantly. It looks like V's apartment is in less of a, like, it still has a nice view of the skyline, but it's definitely looks like it's got less of a prime location, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just looks a little grittier than before, and you see this mac and cheeses advertisement right over here on the left. All right. 80s TV. Yeah, double asterisk says 80s TV. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the aesthetic they're going for. I mean, that's where Cyberpunk has its roots. It's kind of a retro, futuristic 80s culture. Another shot of the skyline. We see a rather interesting ad here. Sort of in the middle, just slightly to the right of center. Hate your meat.
Oof.
Obviously, some kind of an ad for getting cybernetic upgrades, and yeah, but fairly gruesome looking, but
That's very graphic. That's so fascinating.
It is, and the amount of in-game ads. By the way, if you haven't checked out they advertised a website yesterday. Like an official CDPR website, nightcity.love. That's .love, which I know sounds like the kind of website that you're supposed to, browse with incognito mode on. But it's just it's a website all about Night City, but it's like an in-universe website for Night City.
For the city itself. Yeah, it's so cool. Check it out.
Yeah, so nightcity.love, and yeah, so it's kind of just a tool to learn everything you'd ever want to know about Night City and get familiarized with it. It's really interesting. Apparently, there's a election for mayor going on right now, which
they had little ads on there, on like a little banner string of them, and like for like the different parties, or like it was just so well designed.
Yeah,
and like there's also like more pictures of the cityscapes on there as well. And like descriptions and like more lore, and just I had a fun time on that website.
Yeah, so check it out. Maybe some little tidbits of what we might be seeing in the game on there. Like, I wonder if this race for mayor is going to be something that's taking place during the game, and I wonder if you get mixed up in that at all.
I hope so.
That'd be really interesting.
More quests.
Scadra asks, can we vote? I bet you'll vote with bullets.
Yes.
All right. These scenes are going by super fast here. I don't want to,
yeah.
I accidentally jumped ahead.
There we go.
So just another shot of the city here. We see a whole bunch more ads along the side. Some we've seen before.
There's so much great detail in the ads and the overall, world, the buildings. Some of these buildings really do look like they were literally built directly on top of other older buildings. And it's like, first of all, that's not very structurally sound, just so you know. But
yeah, they have super sci-fi materials, though.
Yes, sci-fi universe.
But they were talking about, I mean, Miles Tost was talking about that in one of the interviews yesterday, and talking about how they built it to look like that. They really built it to look like it's been built in phases, different areas expanding at different times, that kind of a thing. Live chat is all debating which of them are running for mayor now. Okay. We see on the left here, we see one of the mega buildings, the big yellow and black building there. That is one of the mega buildings, which is kind of a self-contained city within the city.
I can assure you, if I get voted in as mayor, it'll be free weapons for everyone.
All right, then.
I really like this shot.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Good old Arasaka building in the middle there. Here's another 80s, very, very, very 80s TV host.
She's got such cool augmentations.
Yes. And that hair, man, the hair looks great.
It is so detailed, and like the wisps of it I love all the detail in this design.
Yeah, absolutely. How we feeling today? Because I feel amazing. I could that move.
I like just the movement there.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
I bet they had a lot of fun mocapping that. Some more
And
shots.
I wonder where they're taking these pictures from. Hey? Like, possibly a drone flying around taking these shots, or like, where's the camera angle coming from?
I do wonder where they because they've always said they've been saying for so long now. It's like there are absolutely no out of body shots in the game. It's like, so V is floating? Is he on the hood of a flying car? What's going on here? And I take it to mean that they do have a photographer mode.
We know there are third person cutscenes.
No, they've been saying recently that there's no more third person cutscenes at all, period. And again, I've been saying I don't believe this because they clearly have a whole bunch of them that we've been seeing. They clearly have these like cityscape panning shots that are just everywhere in the game. So this I continue to find hard to believe, or people don't know what they mean when they say that, because it doesn't make any sense. But I do wonder if what you're talking about here with the drone and flying around, I wonder if that's part of the photo mode that we know that they've added to the game.
Okay, but
so in the photo mode, can you go flying up and take these aerial shots? That's
right.
That would be super dope.
That would be so cool.
But
because part of my thing is, as we're going through these shots, some of it I can write it off at, oh, we're riding on this tram. I can see the tracks right there. But in some other cases, I'm like, I don't see any trams. How are we looking at this? Am I at the top of a building?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Anyway, we do know though that I don't. You know what? Never mind. I won't go there right now. We do, they showed us a third-person cutscene in the last Night City Wonder.
Yeah, but they said
that
they have removed all of the. That's what some people have been saying, and that's where I'm like, I don't think the message is coherent here because it seems all over the place.
Yeah. Okay. Have some food.
Street food, yes.
Yeah. Don't ask what the meat's made out of.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh. Don't ruin it for me.
Our home, our pride.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, as always, your business. He's my business. This is like the.
This is one of these financial guys, and the Kramer type. Yeah. Like, you gotta drop this stock, you gotta drop it now. You gotta buy this stock, you gotta buy it now. Sell. Is one of these guys that you can watch. This is hilarious. I hope they have 2 or 3 hours of his footage of just him ranting on stuff, because that would be hilarious. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And this pretty easy cosplay too, I gotta say.
Right?
This looks pretty decent cosplay, so yeah. This could be done. It's great.
Yeah. Golden lapels and all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, Cyber Kramers, says Robin in the chat, and also someone was that lady nearer to the beginning. Cyber Oprah. Yes, I like that one. I definitely think Cyber Oprah is a good name for that character.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, let's carry on. He just seems really sleazy. And this is your world news update. Some more city shots, just a ton of awesome stuff here. So there's going to be... Looks like there's, like, news shows in the game. And apparently... I don't know what this is an ad for. Burrito XXL. Big. Because that's a pretty small burrito. Or, I don't know.
In comparison to what, though?
It might be a euphemism for something else.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Ah. That and it looks like he's wearing a VR headset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And,
got the
like,
impression he was
I feel like-
watching the news show on that thing, but
A little bit. That would make sense.
you know, yeah.
I recommend generally don't wear headsets, VR headsets out in public. First of all, it's hard to see where you're going. Second of all, you're a really easy target for like pickpocketing when your attention is like 99% distracted. So yeah, that's typically.
And it looks
not
like
a good idea.
he's been there for a while because there's like food box and drink garbage down by his feet. Like all the detail in this one shot, even.
G Apollo says, actually, just a second. Cheyenne says it's a burrito. And I suppose it's possible that burritos come in like bubblegum wrappers in the future, but I mean,
It looks like it's a vacuumed, sealed burrito to go that's then heated up in the machine as it's dispensed to you. I've
could
actually
very well be.
you got to remember, like the technology of vending machines in Japan are light years ahead of where they are here. You can have a hot coffee given to you in a vending machine that's like got a foam top and a little heart sign or symbol or whatever, and then you can also have a freshly chopped salad also given to you via a vending machine in in Japan.
Oh yeah, you can get you can get shirts there.
These are things that they've taken from that kind of especially that culture, because there's a lot of like Japanese Hong Kong Tokyo / Hong Kong-ish kind of like themes that have been put here that Mike had added to the game in general. So yeah,
that's what I'm recognizing in all this.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of that, I think, personally.
Yeah. G Apollo asks, can you rob / mug in game and sell the items? I don't know the answer to that one. Do you know?
Yeah, we don't know how, like, we know that you can do street crime, but we don't know how, like, what the reward of that is.
Yeah.
And we don't know how you dump that either. Like, theoretically, could you go to a super busy street, line up a bunch of, like, explosive barrels, take out everybody, run around, loot the stuff, get caught by the police, or, pay a fee or whatever, but still come out ahead? Like, is that something you could do? We don't know that yet because, well, it's not in the game yet, so...
Yes. Well, it's likely in the game. We just have not seen the game. More. What did his shirt say? Or her shirt? I didn't even. Burn corpse shit. Okay. This guy has lots of tattoos. And this is I like. This is something I've said often about this game, but I like the variety of body types. Like, not everybody is the same model with a different head. Like, you've got people of varying heights and of varying densities. Like, just the people look a lot more natural and realistic than in a lot of games that I've seen.
Yes, agreed.
This looks like this is that corporate center, the name of which is slipping my mind at the moment. But you can see this circle with the crisscross pattern. It's a distinctive shape you can see on the map, and it's an important landmark in Night City. And here,
it's got one of the glowfish.
yes, we see the holographic fish here. Another nice shot. That tree, just on the right hand side there, just looks so nice. Like foliage, like the foliage even looks really good in this. Like a lot of games, foliage just looks like crap, just because it's hard to make good looking foliage. But that looks really nice. Granted, this is going to be, obviously what we're seeing is running at the absolute max on the best possible hardware. So bear that in mind. N7 Myth says the Hollowfish are gorgeous. Yes, absolutely. Those blew me away, and the dragons too. More buildings, more ads. Some dude with hair. This hearts.
Oh, multi eyes! Oh my gosh, look at her eyes. They're so cool. She's like a spider face.
Yeah.
That's so.
Okay. That was what did? Hang on. What was the name of that show? This is a. This looks like some kind of a late night talk show. Something After Night. Night After Night, maybe, is the name of the show with.
Night After Night.
Yeah.
Ziggy?
Something Gigi Y.
I don't know. All this stuff is probably on that Night City website.
Probably.
I like this. I like that spiked hair. Oh, okay.
Oh, hey! Look who it is!
Jackie dancing. Definite highlight of the show. You dancing with some girl at a club, so that's a cool aspect. Oops, I clicked completely in the wrong place. I was going for the play button there and hit something totally different. Hey, look at that.
There you go. There.
Oh, the Jackie dance.
The Jackie comes up and starts dancing with you, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? You're ruining everything.
These ads look interesting. Install at your own risk foreign body. Yeah, okay, sure, I'm all over that.
That's a movie.
Whoa.
That's a movie trailer.
Stream banned. With that. We've seen this shot before. We've seen that. We haven't seen that one, but those people looked rather happy.
Yup.
Some kind of a pill we're taking, drinking.
And drank.
Holding the glasses out to the dancer. Hey, yes, I love you. You're so pretty. Oh,
Yeah. By the way, thank you, CDPR, for not having brief nudity in this. That would get us banned if I accidentally pause on it.
Right.
Okay. That's a beautiful junkyard. Like, looks super realistic.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's ugly, but it's supposed to be. The homeless population has risen by 300%. So, look. So this is rather funny here. Aliens kidnapped my wife and kids. Help me celebrate. Yeah.
Wow.
And this ruined Ferris wheel here. So this looks like this. So this is some kind of a tent city, obviously. Poorer area of the city. All right. Just moving on here. So we're seeing footage from security cameras here now. So I wonder how prevalent those will be, and if you can just look around the city at what's going on.
As you can clearly see, Mayor Jojo has reduced the city to a pile of crime. If you vote for me in the coming election, I will make sure none of this ever happens to you. As long as you pay my party a little bit of money on the side.
So this
looks like the girl from one of the first trailers we ever got getting some work done. I hope.
Hopefully voluntarily, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. So yeah, it looks like her jaw. This is the jaw removal lady that we saw in one of the first trailers. Sans her jaw. Yeah, we saw her in the concept arts, but we also saw her in We actually see she's like doing her makeup, looking at a computer screen kind of a thing, and her jaw is off and is sitting beside her. Yeah. Some seriously bad stuff going on all the time. What do we got here? We've got some kind of a... Is this the acid rain, I wonder? Because it almost looks like a meteor shower or something, but like the rain is glowing. It's weird. Ah! Max Tack. So that helmet should look familiar, and they've stylized it up a bit. They've made some modifications to it. Looks really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Time Bean. I know all rain has acid. You don't have to be a nerd all the time. Just saying. All right. Various montage of scenes. Johnny Silverhand. Looking much better than in some of the early footage we saw him in. Looks really cool. Ooh. Kaboom. Critical system failure.
Oh,
And
fatal brain damage.
Yeah. Another nice shot from looks like the outskirts of the city here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the city looks amazing. Now, we didn't see much. I think later on, they must have showed additional stuff during... Oh, there's more here.
Yeah.
There's a lot more. Richard Knight. The founder of Night City.
Yep.
FYI, if you're curious, from Cyberpunk lore. And which city district boasts the best burrito in town? I'm gonna try to speed a little bit just so we move along a little more. Now we see some of the here's where we start seeing some of the really awesome scenery, and I think the holograms are coming up. Okay, like this dragon here, not there, but there. This animatronic dragon thing. I don't know if it's a hologram or like an animatronic statue. Looks fantastic. Schedule says that's Lucius Rhine. Richard Knight is white. Okay. Because that's when they were... Okay. I thought that was Richard Knight because that's... The dialogue at that point was saying it's...
I don't know if we know
Richard
that
Knight.
for sure or not yet. There may have been some minor changes to minor characters. I mean, so the original Knight family, like, I mean, it's very doubtful we're ever going to interact with them other than, like, seeing them in some vids in the past. So I wouldn't hold my breath on, like, certain characters being a particular thing now directly.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Here's the holographic fish, which just look amazing.
Yay, fishy.
I mean, you wouldn't think, like, holographic fish, oh, what whoop-de-doo, but stuff like that is just, oh, jeez, like, this just looks amazing. Like, what they've pulled off here is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's so eye-catching.
Yeah. All right, so past that, I mean, a long interview, well, not super long, really good interview with Miles Tost, level designer for the game, who we had the privilege of interviewing not too long ago. But he was, he talked a lot about the city, and he said a lot of similar stuff to what he told us when we interviewed him. But yeah, that's where there was him talking about it and actually seeing it. There was just no comparison. It was like, wow, unbelievable. All right, so then we got a featurette on the gangs, and this is where, like, I recommend going and watching this with the full audio. We're not going to play play it full audio right now, but they did just such a great job of outlining, telling us all about the different gangs, and there's a lot of them, and you're going to be able to interact with them in different ways. You're going to interact with them via quests and things like that. Now, it's been confirmed you can't really you can't join a gang in the sense of like being a part of it. You'll do jobs for the gangs, but you stay an independent merc basically.
Until the mods come out.
Well, sure. And I mean, obviously, in your own headcanon, you could think of yourself as like, oh, I've joined this gang. I'm loyal to them, and I'm not loyal to those guys. One question somebody asked is like, can you eliminate a gang? Can you take them out to the last character?
Yeah, essentially remove them from the whole city. And that's an interesting one.
That's an interesting question. Yeah, I'm curious to know if you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine you'd have to be a fairly high level character to even attempt that.
Probably.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe when I complete the game and hit max level, I'll try and do that. Try and take out the Maelstrom or something. Nice view of the holographic map here.
Wait. What do you have against the Maelstrom? What?
Oh, yeah. They're just upstanding citizens.
They are upstanding. Why would you... Oh, why would you say that?
This is cool here because this kind of shows the kind of the turf of each gang. They're all going to have their own turf in the city. So the scavengers are people who they kidnap people and harvest their cyberware, basically.
It's totally legitimate business operation, by the way. It's totally normal.
Oh, and Paulies, thank you for the cyber chat. The super chat. I got Cyberpunk on the brain. Thank you so much. Paulie says, again, the gangs you see in the trailer are the big important gangs story-wise, but we will have more smaller gangs like the Bozos gang, which we've seen. That is very true. So, smaller
which
gangs as well.
we think we've seen. There's been no hard confirmation on that yet. And the reason why I bring this up is there are some very iconic gangs that they are probably saving for a major expansion. And we don't know how many, if at all, they're doing this, but it does make a lot of sense. It gives you a really good reason to come back, especially if they do more than one in an expansion. If they bring back 3 or 4 major other gangs that, due to events in the story, things have opened up, doors have opened up, and they're now like, yep, time to come in and claim our new territory. And this might be definitely a major gang of or expansion event that we would see within the game. So yeah, this is something that we want to see, going forward. It's going to be very, 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 very interesting.
Yeah. As far as the Bozos go, there's some characters we see in a quick combat scenario in in one of the features they released that have these clown-like masks that people are speculating could be the Bozos gang. So yes, it's not confirmed that those are Bozos, but it's I can see where people are making that connection. And why do I keep missing the damn play button? This was supposed to be, at the last minute we had to change how we were setting up our video for today. I had only the clips I wanted to show rendered out into a separate video. And for some reason, OBS just did not want to show. It just didn't want to show you that. It was not happy with that video for some reason. Oh well, we get to see this nice looking stuff again. So yes, this holographic map is just super awesome.
I really like it.
It's one of these cases where it's perfectly immersive to have that kind of a map in the game. I mean, you've got a rare case in this game where even your on-screen HUD is completely immersive because it's attached to your cyberware.
Yeah.
So So even that is like, it's part of the game, but it's also in universe. Yeah. The Valentinos are the gang that Jackie was once a part of. He left the gang when his mama found out. That was back when he was a teenager. So the Valentinos, very interesting gang. A lot of culture and richness to their story. Looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I like that golden, like solid gold car. Looked awesome.
Right.
The Sixth Street gang, good old American patriots.
It's one of the more interesting gangs. All of the gangs that they have in Night City are interesting, but these ones are especially interesting because there's so much you can do with their storyline, and I'm really interested to see where they take that as a generalized concept.
Scadril, I increased the play speed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The Mox, no, I saw Lizzie there, so I thought they were doing Mox, but this is the Voodoo Boys. The hackers, the Netrunners. Super high tech. Yeah, they're still not showing us a lot of what the net looks like. I mean, we see snippets of it here.
I don't think we've seen any of the net in other than like very brief, not to be taken super seriously.
Yeah.
Way yet. And I think this is kind of, I suspect that this is normal. I suspect that this is part of their plan of like wanting to show off what the net is and what it can be in its most amazing concept.
Mm-hmm.
So
the Animals gang, roided out freaks.
Hey, they're not freaks. They're muscle-bound enthusiasts.
Yeah. That's what I said, right? No. I don't know. Good old Sasquatch.
It's gonna be so interesting to see where they go with all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger Claws. I don't know much about this gang, honestly. I believe they're important in Cyberpunk lore. That shot of riding the motorcycle there was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That guy with like lights. Yes. Hold on, let's go back to that.
Yes.
The Tiger Claws are going to have a very heavy.
He's got like.
What?
He's got like lightsaber.
Lightsaber claws. Yes.
Yeah, he's got lightsaber mantis blades.
Yeah, this is gonna be some cool mantis blade action when we get access to these. If we ever do, I'm sure we will. If not, mods will fix it. But yes, it's very, very interesting. But no, the Tiger Claws and the Moxie gang are very, very much opposed, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that dynamic is played out as well.
Yeah, this guy also, he does have the Arasaka symbol on his forehead there.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, like, will you have gang members who are also members of Corps? Anyway, very cool. More hollow koi. The Mox. The Mox is a cool gang.
It is. It really is. It's one of my favorites by far.
Good old, and then everybody's the internet's waifu, Judy Alvarez, part of this gang. They hang out here in Lizzie's bar. So yeah, Judy running. It's interesting how simplistic some of the interfaces on their machine and their computers and things are.
Mm-hmm.
Simon, 2 questions. Randall says, "What's with blocking with the katana when you're being shot at?" Yeah, that does seem a little. Well, I chose a boring frame to pause at. Here, that one's better. It does seem. I mean, I wonder if that has to do with some cyber augmentations that just let you, block incoming bullets. It does seem rather unrealistic, I suppose.
Well, if you've got the augmentations, you could get the augmentation to make your reflexes faster. And let's say you got your eyes, so it's like the whole shebang, and you just react a lot quicker,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And then let's say you've got like a heated katana, and you just melt that sucker, just whoosh.
I suppose, but if you've got a barrage of incoming machine gun fire, that seems like there's no way you could physically react fast enough. Even if you could track all the bullets coming in, like, could you move your arms that fast?
But Demon Slayer.
Or maybe he uses the Force. Force confirmed. Yeah. And now we're in the Badlands,
so
and we
cool.
have the Wraiths. They love their cars.
Mm-hmm.
Blissful Soul says, "Why does everything need to be super realistic?" Well, you have a point. And the Aldecados. So is that... Those are 2 separate gangs, the Aldecados and the Wraiths. Do I have that right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so a couple of nomad gangs. Alenton says, "I want to know more about the NCPD." Yes. Adam Pender says, "Clothes offer some avocado." What did I say, Neon Arcade? Is it the avocados? Or what did I say? I don't even know. But yeah, so yeah, clothes do offer some protection from bullets, so that's that is one aspect that can help. And Alantan says, "I want to know more about the NCPD." There's been a lot of folks who've been curious about that. I'm very curious about that as well.
Yeah, we've had way more, like a ton more information about the gangs in the game. Way more than we've had information about the actual, like, NCPD, which is weird. That, well, it's weird considering what we had at the beginning, right, of information, and where this information came out at, and like what was going on within the information. It's like we have been missing a considerable amount for a while now on the actual, like, police department within the world, and that's really kind of shocking. It's very, very shocking, given all of the all of the crime that we're going to be embroiled in. Like, the biggest thing I think we've seen so far is the opening cinematic where they get caught by that one police guy. So it's an interesting concept, and where what that means for the story, I don't know. Maybe one of the expansions really is going to focus on the police department instead. So that'll be, like I said, that'll be really interesting to see where that goes.
Right. All right. So, yeah, that's about it for the video component of it. I recommend, if you haven't yet, go back and watch all of the go watch the entire Night City Wire. I mean, it was an amazing experience. There's more content in there. They also did a little featurette on the PC case design contest, so you can check that out too. Yeah. And I guess that's about it for that. Going back to the topic we were talking about earlier, though, somebody did get back to me about the romance thing. So Nixar on on our Discord community says, for the romance thing, it was mentioned here as an answer for an interview that all romance options have been shown, but I didn't hear or see anything about the numbers of them. Okay, well, thank you for that. I being in the middle of the podcast, I can't check out this video, but thank you for sharing that. So, sounding like
I don't think that means what. Again, I don't think that means what we think it means. I think what it means is that they may have shown off everything in the game that they have as far as like characters that you can romance. They haven't announced what characters are actually romanceable out of those characters that they've shown.
Yeah, no,
So
they haven't. They haven't talked about that at all. No.
Yeah, and because again, I think that this has been massively like, confusing people, because it's like, well, I don't really think that we're going to have what they think is going on here. So yeah, and it's annoying because it's like, I wish they would improve their communication in regards to this, because this has been very, like, this is one of their key issues, that they don't really explain what they mean a lot, or definitely not as much as they should.
Well, I wonder how much of that is intentional, though, in the interests of avoiding spoilers, keeping people guessing, keeping people curious.
And I mean, I could definitely see that, but it's like, why are they making this so complicated and confusing? Because this is just making people like go, what do you mean there's only 4? And it's like, well, I don't think that there's just 4. I think there's obviously way more than that. We just haven't seen that yet.
Except I don't think that anybody from CDPR said 4. That's the impression I'm getting.
I think it's an assumption that the community is making. So I'm hoping that they can clarify that soon, because again, information that is not accurate is the bane of any game, is the bane of anything that they're trying to market. And when you're not clear with the people who are asking the questions, then it does come in and cause some confusion. So yeah, we'll see, I guess.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. Yeah, I'm just looking through the chat here. And lots of interesting conversation. So if you want to keep the conversation going after the live broadcast today, do check out our Discord server. You can find the link in the description below. It's a great place to hang out, find people to game with, keep up to date about everything that's going on here at the Triple S League. And I mean, that's another thing actually that somebody in the chat just pointed out, is that we've known for a long time that NPCs in the game will have their own preferences, as opposed to, whether or not they want to be with you if you're male or female, right? So you're going to have gay characters, straight characters, and everything in between. If there's only 4 romanceable characters, that means basically one of each. Like one straight male, one gay male. That just doesn't seem to click at all. Like, there's definitely going to be, it seems like there has to be more than that, just based on that alone, right? I don't know. So Lady Reaver says, an episode of Night City Wire dedicated to relationships in Night City, please. Sadly, I don't think we'll get that. We are going to get.
Well, we did get the confirmation that they are doing another one.
There will be one more. Yeah,
this is what I've been saying for a long time, and there were a lot of people who were like, "No, there's only 3," and I'm like, "No, their intention was always to do, one big event per month, basically, starting from like midsummer, and so that means 4 to 5 if they can get away with a 5th one. So we'll see, and it's nice being proven right. Always love that. It's always a good feeling. But yeah, no, because I had been having some concerns about like that as well. And again, it comes down to like a little messaging, but it's not too bad.
Yep.
It's not as bad as the other thing. So.
Neon Arcade also says, Patrick Mills says, we've seen all the romance options. Start searching the footage, boys. Well,
Yep.
if you haven't yet, check out our NPC romance tier list for Cyberpunk 2077. We took community input and had some fun putting together a tier list. It's very comical, and part 2 will be coming as soon as I can get to it. I know a lot of people have been asking me about part 2 of that, and I will be getting to it as soon as I can. Just been swamped with other stuff, but the content's all there. I just have to put it in video form. Like, it's already half written, basically. So we'll be continuing with that series. Get those out to you before the game releases, and then see who the real romance options are. But the community had a lot of fun with that. All right, any final thoughts before we wrap up here? Aside from, wow, put this game into my brain.
Yeah. Everything is looking good. It's looking better and better. We definitely do not have a dud at this point. You know, all of the complaints that some people have been coming up with have been clearly way over worried about or talked about, and I think what we're going to be facing in the future is an award-winning game.
Oh, most definitely. Mm-hmm. This game's going to win some serious awards. But more so than that, I think we're just going to have a great game that we will be playing for many years to come, hopefully. And we talked a lot about modding yesterday, too. We talked a lot about modding, about the types of mods that might come out, and character mods, radio station mods, a whole bunch of things. Just if it has the we don't know if CDPR is going to officially support mods. I think they definitely, they have expressed a desire. Yeah, it's on their wish list. Yeah. They haven't officially said, yes, we're going to release modding tools, but it's on their wish list. Regardless, there's going to be mods for this game. I mean, it's the same engine as The Witcher 3, essentially, highly upgraded, must clarify. But, it's their same engine. Witcher 3 was very moddable, so this game likely will be as well. And between just the huge amount of content, the DLC and stuff, and that's probably what we're going to see in the next Night City Wire is info on their expansions. They have revealed that they're going to be showing us all of their planned expansions for the game, all the planned DLC, before the game actually launches, which is really interesting. So I suspect that that'll be a large part of the next Night City Wire.
Mm-hmm.
But between all of that, plus we've got the multiplayer game coming sometime down the road. Plus if it's as moddable or even close to as moddable as Skyrim, this game's going to be around for a long, long time. Paulie's in the chat. Final thoughts. Or Paulie's with another super chat. Thank you so much. Final thoughts. Dum Dum is love. Dum Dum is life. Yes.
Shrek is love. Shrek is life.
If you haven't slammed that like button yet, we'd really appreciate it if you did that before taking off here. We really appreciate that, and it tells us and YouTube that you appreciate this content. But and as far as that goes, we're going to wrap up the show for today. So thank you so much, everybody, for checking out the show today, for the great conversation in the chat, for supporting the show by listening live or after the fact. Slam that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for all kinds of Cyberpunk content and other high-quality gaming content. I want to extend a special thanks to our Patreon supporters and our channel members who help to make this content possible. Our big damn heroes on Patreon: Robin, Shua82, Timebean, School of Minute, Lady Reaver, Dracoden, and our 2 anonymous supporters at that level. And our channel members, Mr. Pazernick, Jer Schultz, Game Notes, Night City Punk, Terror K, Somnolence, and Dracoden again. He's both. So thank you so much. If you are listening after the fact on one of the audio-only platforms or on YouTube, remember that we do this podcast live Wednesdays and Saturdays every week. So you can check our Discord server for the exact time that we go live in your, we we list several time zones and figure out from there in your local area. We've got people that listen from all over the world, and it's quite fantastic. But also check out the Discord server for a great community that just loves doing a lot of stuff together. It's been great seeing some real friendships, being created in this community, so that's really it's been really profound for me to watch that, and it's a great community. We do our best to keep it positive and really healthy and non-toxic, so definitely check it out. And if you listen to the live show, you can interact with us and other listeners, be part of the discussion as you see today. And sometimes if you watch on YouTube instead of listening on the audio-only platforms, we do have the visual components to some of the shows like we did today. My name is Ash. On behalf of Cyb and Moontag, thank you all so much for listening. We'll talk to you again very soon.